What's up YouTube? Grimjaw King Reviews here, and today I'll be reviewing Tokyo Ghoul Ray Bone 24. So, two things about this chapter. One, Akira Mato? Bruh, girl, you are a badass. You are a badass. And two, Takizawa, you're not completely crazy, but you're still pretty fucking crazy. So, let's jam. So, this chapter opens up with Yurie and Mutsuki walking around the auction house. And yeah, despite all of Yurie's big talk, yeah, they're lost. And he even apologizes to, Mutsuki for getting them lost. I imagine that's because he's trying to get, to a hot spot as soon as possible so he can get as much credit. But, that doesn't change the fact that they're lost. So, they continue to, roam around the auction house. And, then Mutsuki ends up asking Yurie why, he doesn't do any group activities, why he doesn't do group training with them. And essentially Yurie's like, oh, well, while I work better alone, I'm a loner, and plus you guys wouldn't even miss me if I was gone. Of course, Mutsuki calls him on this bullcrap, and ends up saying that while yes, he is really strong, and yes, he's a loner, all the rest of the Kunkei squad looks up to him. They want to rely on him for help. Hell, even Sasaki, the leader, relies on him help. So this manages to, stop Yurie's bitching for a little bit. And, while Mutsuki is telling Yurie all of this, she reopened her wound. And a few drops of her blood hit the ground. And considering where they are, i.e. surrounded by ghouls, that could have been better. That could have not hit the ground, because essentially, she left a trail behind for somebody to follow. Oh yeah. We then cut over to Akira's fight against Naki, and, as expected, Akira's wrecking his shit, man. And while, she's pretty strong, she comments that, like, although he, stood up to other S-class ghouls, and, that if she was by herself, she might have a little bit of trouble fighting him, she is not alone. She has, greater numbers. However, this would be the case, this would work if all of the CCG's investigators were on her and Sasaki's level. But as we've, constantly seen, they're not. So, yeah, that plan should have been dealt a little bit better, but whatever. And as this fight is going on, we get a glimpse of Hanami, i.e. Master, Yatsume, with an Aogiri tree member, looking down on the fight scene. And, she comments about how Naki's losing, how the CCG has the upper hand, and, while she says this, she's biting her lip. Now, generally speaking, whenever somebody bites their lip in a fight scene, that means they're debating whether they want to do something. So, I'm thinking that she's maybe going to try to interfere in the fight, but I'm not quite sure how that'll go, because we haven't seen how strong she is after the time skip. And before the time skip, while she did have, her special Kagine, we're not quite sure how well that would hold up against Akira. Because she's just about as strong, if not stronger, than her dad at the moment. So, yeah, there's that. We then cut over to Takizawa, and yeah, he's still pretty twisted, because, he cornered a couple of CCG members, and he's spouting his, twisted philosophy on life. And, this is pretty much him saying, oh, the only reason, you guys fear people, or fear anything, is because it's different than you. You fear, ghouls because they look different than you. You fear death because, it's different than, life, which is what you are. And, he then proceeds to threaten, to kill them. But it looks like one of the CCG members who was there actually recognized him, because she called out to him as, Takizawa, she asked a few questions, as in like, "Oh, are you the same Takizawa who taught our lecture about Quinquez?" Well, he's like, "Yes, that's me," and he even says her name, which I believe was Togi. And he even asks her, he's like, "Are you the same one who kept talking in all my lectures?" She replies, "Yes." Never mind the fact that she probably shouldn't have done that, because generally speaking, when somebody talks and you're talking, you get pissed off, and that's when you're normal. When you're a psychopath like Takizawa is right now, that's not going to end well. And, as expected, it didn't. Because he then proceeds to, whip off her head and, punch his fist through her torso, and he dementedly tells her, "You should have paid attention to my lectures." Yeah, that's pretty crazy, Yatakizawa. But I mean, this is an upside because we had initially thought, or rather, from what we've been shown, is that Takizawa is all crazy and that he doesn't really recall anything from when he's human. Otherwise, why would he be attacking all these CCG members? But this little few panels pretty much shows us that yes, he remembers his human life. So that means he's not too far gone so that he'd forgotten everything. But he's still crazy. He's still psychopathic, so he's still gonna kill everybody. So we then cut over to Yurie and Mutsuki in the next panel, and yeah, they have finally, after being lost for who knows how long, arrived in the auction hall. And Yurie comments, we need to, find where the other auction members are hiding. Because the only people they've come across is Aogiri Tree right now. So they haven't found any of the auctioners. Yeah, auctioners. Yeah, they haven't found any of them. He then proceeds to, head toward the little platform in the center where they bring out all the stuff that's going to be auctioned. And he noticed that there's a passageway leading down. So, he convinces Mutsuki, who's, worried that none of the other groups are there, that, it's safe, they can go down there, that, he hopes there is another squad there, but internally he's hoping that, there's no other squad there so he can get all the credit. Because keep in mind, Yurie is all about getting the credit. So, he then, they proceed to go down. We don't really know what's in there because it's not shown. However, the chapter ends with Takizawa spotting Sasaki and his group, and it looks like a massive fight is on the horizon. Because after he killed the CCG members, he went outside, to receive his next orders. But as he was getting those, he noticed their group. And he even commented, he was like, "Oh, I found 3 delicious morsels." So going by what he said, what he looks like, and the way they ended the chapter, you can assume that some pretty big things are going to happen. So, what all happened this chapter? Well, 1, Takizawa, still a loon, still fucking crazy. No, he has his memories now, but he's still crazy. 2, that Akira is a badass. Nafit. And 3, that Yurie is still all about them games, and he doesn't really care if, he's gonna get ambushed. So, this is Grimjaw King Reviews signing off. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, people, have an awesome day.